Google doesn't know that you and your website actually exist unless you introduce yourself to Google. You've spent lots of time, maybe even lots of money to get your website launched. It's live, you're so proud of it, and then one day you go to Google yourself to make sure it's there and you can't find your site. If you have a website and you haven't told Google that you do in fact have a website, and if I were your CMO, I would tell you to set up Google Search Console. Hi, I'm Morgan Sinclair. I'm a dietitian turned designer, passionate about helping you market your practice in a values aligned way. We want to create intentional marketing strategies and have you not feel like you're throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping to see that something sticks. Okay, so it's more than just Google Search Console that's going to go into you being found on Google. There's things like SEO keywords, your website copy, your local SEO, etc. But Google Search Console is a key step to Google even knowing that you exist and to look for you. The good news is you don't have to be a techie person to figure this out. It's not complicated. It's a free tool. It's a simple clicks. It's a submission of a sitemap, and then Google's going to know that you actually exist. So what actually is Google Search Console? It's a free service provided by Google that's going to help you monitor, maintain, and troubleshoot how your website shows up in Google searches. Now, this is not to be confused with Google Analytics. That is different. Google Analytics is going to give you data for what happens after someone has already found you. Google Search Console is going to tell you what happens before when someone is actually searching for you. In this video, I'm going to walk you through step-by-step how to set up Google Search Console because, fun fact, I've actually never done this for weight-inclusive innovators, so we're going to use that as the example and you can follow along with your own website. Step number one is actually going to Google Search Console. You can do this by Googling it, or you can type in the URL search.google.com/search-console. It's either going to take you to an about page that looks like this, or it might take you to a welcome page that looks like this. Now, before we go any further, we're going to want to go up to this top right corner and make sure that you are logged into your business Google account. Ideally, this is the same one that you are using for everything else related to your practice. If you have multiple Google accounts, use whichever is the one that has the Gmail associated with your private practice. This is the account that should be logged into at the top right corner, so make sure that you are logged into the right account. Once you've done that, you will see that we have two different options within Google Search Console. We have the domain and we have the URL prefix. Now, if you have access to your DNS records, which is where you purchased your domain, this could be GoDaddy, this could be Google, wherever you purchase your domain, you should have access to your DNS records. If you are familiar with this, if you have access to this, I'd recommend choosing the domain option. What you're going to do is type in your website address, excluding the HTTPS : / whatever that's called. So ours would be weightinclusiveinnovators.com. When you click continue, and if your domain is through GoDaddy, Google actually makes this really easy to verify your domain. If you do not have your domain through GoDaddy, Google is going to prompt you to choose other DNS provider, and it's going to give you a text record or a TXT record that you're going to have to go in and add to your DNS records. More times than not, people either don't have access to their DNS records, messing with the DNS records really scares the heck out of them, or if you already have Google Analytics set up, then you could actually do the URL prefix. This is a perfectly fine option for private practices and is often faster to verify. So this is a great option for clinicians. This is the option that I'm going to walk us through. And so what you're going to do first is go to your website. So I'm going to type in weightinclusiveinnovators.com. I'm going to highlight this top part where the URL is. I'm going to click Command C or Control C if you're not on a Mac to copy this. And then we're going to paste it into this URL box. It is very important that you paste the URL directly as is without trying to overwhelm you. There are a lot of different ways, not a lot, there's 4 different ways that this can be set up. I'm just going to show them to you now. You might have an HTTPS with a www. You might have an HTTPS without a www. You might have an HTTP with a www and an HTTP without a www. Those are 4 different options of your URL. If it has the S on it, it means it's a secure site. You really want that for your site. I would look into that if you don't have it, but that's not what this video is about. So we are going to copy that URL directly and click paste. And then we're going to go ahead and click continue. Okay, as you can see here, our ownership is auto-verified because we have already done something within Google to connect Google to our DNS records, meaning that there is probably already a TXT record in our DNS records that Google recognizes, and so it's letting us verify this pretty quickly. If you did this and you do not have a auto verification green checkbox, then you will have to do a couple more steps. Another reason that you might have a green auto-verified checkbox is if you have already set your website up through Google Analytics, you have also already done some sort of verification process, and Google Search Console can see that, and so you might just be good to go. If you do not have this, it is going to take you to another screen where it is going to give you some sort of meta tag or code that you're going to need to paste into your head HTML. If you are a Showit user, aka my favorite website platform, which you can see here, the back end of the Weight Inclusive Innovators website, what we are going to do is click on Site Settings. We're going to head down here to where it says Integration, and then we're going to click Add Custom Code. We can call this Google Search Console. And we're going to add the code to the HTML to the head, and then whatever code Google gave you whenever you took the next step in Google Search Console, you're going to paste that here and click Save down here at the bottom. If you're using a different platform, you will need to Google how to add header code to insert your platform here. So we could say how to add header code to a Squarespace website. And it's going to give you instructions on how to do that in Google. And you will just need to follow those instructions with whatever code Google Search Console gave you. Once your website has been verified in Google Search Console, it is very normal that you are not going to see any data show up. As you can see here, it says processing data, please check again in a day or so. That is just because Google needs some time to go collect the data to then give it to you in these reports and in this overview. Moving on to step number 4, we now need to add what is called a sitemap, which you can see over here on the left-hand side. This is basically a table of contents for your whole website. So you are handing this over to Google and you are saying, here, start with this, read all of this, figure out all of the different URLs for my website. Your sitemap URL is also going to be dependent on where your website is built. So Showit, Squarespace, WordPress, Wix, etc. all have different sitemap URLs. My favorite way to figure this out is what is my sitemap URL for Showit? And you can insert your design platform there. Google's going to tell you your sitemap URL is generally, and then we have yourdomain.com/siteinfo.xml. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that. We're going to paste it here, and I'm going to submit my sitemap since I know that my website is on Showit. It says sitemap submitted successfully. And so Google will go through and periodically look for changes. Now, it's very common once you do that the status is going to say couldn't fetch. If you refresh the page, it should fix this and it should come up as success status. You have Google Search Console set up, you have your sitemap submitted. It might take a couple days for the data to come through, but Google now knows that you exist. Time for a party, let's celebrate. This was no small thing because it is going to be so impactful in your search engine optimization and being able to be found on Google. However, it doesn't stop there. If you make updates on your website, like building a new services page, rewriting your about copy, or publishing your blog, you do have to let Google know that you made those changes by re-indexing your site. Basically, what this means is you are saying, hey, Google, you already know I exist, but there's new information for you to search for. And so we're going to have to re-index your website. We're going to talk about re-indexing in a video coming soon.